The arrival of the celestial fleet. Captain Lila Voss stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her gaze fixed on the viewscreen displaying an immense alien vessel hovering at the edge of the Zeta-9 system. It was unlike anything she had ever seen, an architectural marvel that seemed to defy logic with its twisting spires and vibrant colors that shifted in shades unknown to human eyes. "Lieutenant Reed, can you get me a closer look at that thing?" she asked, her voice steady despite the excitement bubbling within her. "Aye, Captain," replied Lieutenant Marcus Reed, his fingers flying over the controls as he adjusted their ship's sensors. It's definitely not from around here." Dr. Jenna Firth, the ship's xenobiologist, leaned closer to the screen, her brow furrowing in concentration. "The structural integrity readings are off the charts," she noted. "Whatever technology they used is far beyond ours." As they continued their scans, Lila felt a mix of awe and trepidation. Humanity had always dreamed of encountering extraterrestrial life, but now that it was happening, she couldn't shake a sense of absurdity creeping into her thoughts. "Are we sure it's not just a giant space art installation?" Marcus quipped, breaking the tension with his characteristic humor. Lila chuckled despite herself. "If it is, I hope they don't expect us to critique it." Suddenly, an alarm blared through the bridge, snapping them back to attention. "Captain! They're hailing us!" Marcus announced. On screen, Lila commanded. The view screen flickered to life, revealing an alien figure shrouded in elaborate robes that seemed to shimmer with every movement. Its skin was a striking shade of teal with intricate patterns flowing across its surface like living art. As it spoke, its voice resonated with an otherworldly cadence. "Greetings, Earthlings. I am Grand Chancellor Vexer of the Intergalactic Coalition," it proclaimed dramatically. Lila exchanged glances with her crew. They were all trying hard not to laugh at how theatrical this introduction was. Hello," Lila managed to say while suppressing a grin. "I am Captain Lila Voss of the Odyssey. We come in peace." Vexer's eyes widened, there were 6 of them blinking in synchrony, as if trying to process her words. "Peace? How quaint," it exclaimed with an exaggerated flourish of its arms. "Do you not know who we are? We are conquerors. We have traversed galaxies." "Right," Marcus muttered under his breath. "And we brought pizza." Lila shot him a warning look but couldn't help but feel amused by his irreverence. "You dare approach us without proper ceremonial offerings?" Vexer continued, seemingly oblivious to their internal banter. "You must prepare yourselves for enlightenment." "Enlightenment sounds great," Lila said diplomatically. "But perhaps we could start with introductions first?" Vexer paused as if considering this suggestion for a moment before nodding vigorously. "Very well. But know this, our customs are complex. You will need to adhere strictly to our protocols." Lila raised an eyebrow as she exchanged glances with Jenna and Marcus again. This was going to be interesting. As Vexer launched into an elaborate explanation about their customs involving ceremonial dances and offerings of exotic fruits from their home planet, none of which made any sense, Lila found herself stifling laughter at how absurdly formal everything sounded. "Commander Trent," she said finally, turning towards her first officer who had been quietly observing from his station at the back of the bridge. "What do you think?" "I think we should prepare for anything," Silas replied dryly but with a hint of amusement in his tone. "Including possibly being offered fruit salad as part of their enlightenment." The crew erupted into laughter at this comment just as Vexer paused mid-sentence and blinked at them in confusion. "You find our customs amusing?" it asked incredulously. "No. Not at all," Lila quickly said while biting her lip to suppress further laughter. "It's just, you have such unique traditions." Vexer appeared momentarily flustered before regaining composure. "Then let us proceed. Prepare yourselves for enlightenment. And do not forget your offering." As they ended communications with Vexer and began preparing for what was sure to be an unforgettable encounter, Lila couldn't shake off the feeling that this first contact would be filled with unexpected humor, and perhaps even some chaos. "All right, team," she said finally as they gathered around her command chair once more. "Let's get ready for whatever comes next, just remember to keep your wits about you." With that declaration echoing through the Bridge of Odyssey, they all shared one last laugh before embarking on what would surely be one of humanity's most memorable adventures yet, a journey into hilarity among the stars as they prepared to meet an empire unlike any other in existence. A meeting of minds. The conference room aboard the bureaucratic Excellence was a spectacle of alien opulence, designed to intimidate and impress. Captain Lila Voss sat at the head of the massive obsidian table, her fingers tapping nervously against the cool surface as she prepared for what was to be a historic meeting between humans and the Aeoran Empire. The walls were adorned with certificates and commendations, each meticulously inscribed in an elaborate script that seemed to mock human simplicity. Across from her, Grand Executive Vexor fidgeted with the myriad layers of its ornate robes, its 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession as it processed the concept of a cultural exchange. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, but Lila could sense an undercurrent of absurdity in the air. "Let me ensure I understand this correctly," Vexor said, its voice booming with a theatrical flair that echoed off the walls. "You wish to begin our historic diplomatic negotiations by consuming circular portions of processed grain products topped with fermented dairy excretions and preserved meat products." Lila stifled a laugh at the grandiosity of Vexor's description. "Yes, Grand Executive," she replied, maintaining her composure. "We call it pizza. It's a human tradition that fosters camaraderie." "Camaraderie?" Vexor echoed, tilting its head in confusion. "Is that not what formal introductions are for?" Commander Silas Trent, Lila's first officer, leaned forward with an amused expression. "In our experience, sharing a meal often leads to more honest conversations than formalities ever could." Vexor's upper set of eyes narrowed while the lower set widened, an expression Lila had come to interpret as deep contemplation. "Interesting," it finally said. "Our own legal scholars tend to become irritable during extended filing sessions without sustenance." "Exactly," Lila exclaimed, sensing a breakthrough. "We believe that food can create bonds and ease tension." As they discussed the logistics of ordering pizza from Earth, a process that involved navigating interstellar delivery protocols, Vexor seemed increasingly intrigued by human customs. The conversation shifted from diplomatic formalities to discussions about favorite toppings and the best ways to prepare beverages. "Your beverage choices are peculiar," Vexor remarked, its eyes blinking in unison as it reviewed a holographic menu presented by Kithra, its assistant. "What is this soda you speak of?" "It's carbonated sugar water," Silas explained, trying to keep a straight face. "Very popular on Earth." "Popular? Why would you consume something so effervescent?" Vexor asked, genuinely perplexed. Lila couldn't help but chuckle at the alien's bewilderment. "It's all about the experience. Plus, it goes well with pizza." With arrangements for pizza underway, Lila felt a wave of relief wash over her. Perhaps this meeting wouldn't be as stilted as she had feared. As they waited for their food to arrive, an event that had become an elaborate affair involving multiple communications with Earth, the crew began exchanging stories about their respective cultures. "Tell us about your most significant achievement," Kithra prompted eagerly. "Well," Lila began, recalling humanity's journey into space exploration. "One of our greatest achievements was landing on the Moon in 1969. It was a monumental step for mankind." Vexor leaned closer, its eyes wide with fascination. "You ventured beyond your planet? How remarkable. We have conquered galaxies but never sought to explore our own moon." "Exploration is part of our nature," Silas interjected. "We're driven by curiosity, hence the name of our ship." "Curiosity," Vexor repeated thoughtfully. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your approach after all." Just then, an excited commotion erupted outside the conference room doors. A junior officer burst in, breathless and wide-eyed. "Sir! The human food delivery vessel is approaching," they announced. Vexor's eyes lit up with excitement, a sight Lila found both amusing and endearing. "Prepare yourselves. This shall be a momentous occasion." As they gathered around the table, anticipation hung thick in the air. Moments later, 2 delivery drones entered the room carrying boxes stacked high with pizzas and cans of soda. "Behold!" Vexor proclaimed dramatically as if unveiling a great treasure. The crew erupted into laughter at its enthusiasm. As they opened the boxes and revealed steaming slices of pizza adorned with pepperoni and melted cheese, Vexor stared at them in awe. "This is extraordinary," it exclaimed. Lila couldn't help but smile as she watched Vexor tentatively pick up a slice using its long fingers. The alien took a cautious bite, its expression shifting from curiosity to delight. "This is delicious," Vexor declared, its voice booming with enthusiasm. "Why have we not encountered this before? Perhaps you were too busy conquering galaxies?" Silas suggested playfully. Vexor paused mid-bite and blinked rapidly, a sign that Lila had come to recognize as confusion mixed with amusement. "Indeed. There are many things we have yet to learn from you." As they continued eating and sharing stories about their respective cultures, humans recounting tales of exploration and innovation while Aeorans shared their bureaucratic triumphs, the atmosphere lightened considerably. Lila felt a sense of camaraderie forming between them, a bond forged over laughter and shared experiences rather than formalities and protocols. After several slices of pizza and animated discussions about their favorite Earth movies, much to Vexor's disbelief, Lila decided it was time to steer the conversation toward more serious matters. "Grand Executive," she began cautiously, "we appreciate this opportunity for cultural exchange. But I believe we should also discuss potential collaborations between our civilizations." Vexor nodded thoughtfully as it wiped tomato sauce from its mouth with an ornate napkin made from some exotic fabric. "Yes. Collaboration. What do you propose?" "We have advanced technologies that could benefit both our species," Lila explained. "For instance, our renewable energy sources could help power your ships more efficiently. And we could share our knowledge of intergalactic trade routes," Silas added enthusiastically. "There are many untapped resources out there." Vexor considered their proposal carefully before responding. "This is intriguing. But we must ensure that any collaboration aligns with our bureaucratic standards." Lila fought back another laugh at how seriously Vexor took its responsibilities as Grand Executive despite the casual setting they found themselves in. "Of course. We can work together to draft proposals that meet both our needs," she assured it. As discussions continued into the evening, punctuated by laughter and shared stories, the barriers between humans and Aeorans began to dissolve further. By the end of their meeting, Lila felt optimistic about what lay ahead for both civilizations, a future filled with collaboration built on mutual respect and understanding rather than mere conquest or superiority. As they wrapped up their session and prepared for departure back to their respective ships, Lila couldn't shake off the feeling that this encounter marked just the beginning of something extraordinary, a new chapter in intergalactic relations defined not just by diplomacy but also by friendship, and perhaps even laughter amidst all the cosmic chaos ahead. Cultural exchanges gone awry. The atmosphere in the conference room aboard the bureaucratic Excellence was charged with excitement as the historic first pizza party unfolded. Captain Lila Voss sat at the head of the table, watching her crew interact with their Aeoran counterparts. The sight of Grand Executive Vexor, normally so imposing in its ornate robes, now attempting to balance a slice of pizza on its plate was both amusing and heartwarming. "Are you sure this is how it's meant to be consumed?" Vexor asked, holding the slice delicately as if it were a rare artifact. Its 4 eyes blinked in unison, a sign of deep concentration. "Absolutely," Lila replied with a grin. "Just take a bite. You'll love it." As Vexor hesitated, Lieutenant Marcus Reed leaned over and whispered, "It's just food, not a weapon of mass destruction." Vexor finally took a cautious bite, its eyes widening in surprise. "This is delightful," it exclaimed, crumbs flying from its mouth as it spoke. "How do you humans create such flavors?" "Years of culinary experimentation and some happy accidents," Marcus replied, his tone light. "We've had our share of kitchen disasters too." The laughter that erupted at the table was infectious, breaking down barriers between the two species. Lila watched as Kithra, Vexor's assistant, tentatively reached for a slice of pizza, observing her human colleagues with keen interest. "Do all humans consume food in such an informal manner?" Kithra asked, tilting its head. "Pretty much," Lila answered. "We believe that sharing meals helps us connect better." "Fascinating," Kithra mused as it took a bite of the pizza. Its expression shifted from curiosity to delight almost instantly. "I must admit, this is far superior to our standard nutrient paste." As the meal continued, Lila felt optimistic about the cultural exchange taking place. However, she also sensed that not everything was going to go smoothly. Just as she was about to suggest they share stories about their respective cultures, an unexpected interruption occurred. A junior officer burst into the room, looking flustered. "Captain. We have a situation." "What is it?" Lila asked, her heart racing. "The delivery drone from Earth, it's malfunctioning," the officer stammered. "It's playing some sort of music on all frequencies and seems to be causing chaos in the hangar bay." Vexor's eyes widened in alarm. "What kind of music?" "Something called Pizza Time Remix," the officer replied. Lila exchanged glances with Marcus and Silas, trying to suppress their laughter at the absurdity of the situation. "Let's hope it doesn't cause a diplomatic incident." As they rushed to the hangar bay to assess the situation, Lila couldn't help but feel a mix of amusement and dread at what awaited them. The hangar bay was a scene of utter chaos. A group of Aoran crew members had gathered around the malfunctioning delivery drone, which was spinning in circles while blasting an upbeat tune that seemed oddly infectious. Some Aorans were bobbing their heads in rhythm while others looked utterly bewildered. "Is this what you humans call dancing?" Kithra asked incredulously as it observed its fellow Aorans moving awkwardly to the music. Sort of," Lila replied, trying to hold back her laughter. "It's more like an expression of joy or celebration." Vexor stepped forward, its voice booming over the music. "Silence. This is highly inappropriate behavior during an official exchange." The drone continued to spin wildly, seemingly oblivious to Vexor's authority. Suddenly, it launched a pizza box into the air, an impressive feat for a malfunctioning delivery system, and it landed squarely on Vexor's head. Lila burst into laughter as Vexor stood there stunned, pizza box perched atop its ornate headdress like some bizarre crown. "Grand Executive. Are you alright?" Kithra rushed forward to assist. "I am, fine," Vexor declared indignantly as it removed the box and glared at Lila and her crew. "This is an affront to our dignity." "Maybe we should embrace this moment," Marcus suggested with a grin. "After all, laughter can be quite disarming." Vexor blinked rapidly before slowly nodding. "Perhaps you are correct, but only if we can regain control over this chaotic situation." With that declaration echoing through the hangar bay, Lila felt inspired by her crew's ability to adapt even amidst chaos. They quickly devised a plan. They would engage the Aorans in a dance-off, a friendly competition designed to lighten spirits and restore order. "All right, everyone. Let's show them how we dance on Earth," Marcus called out enthusiastically. Lila led her crew into an impromptu dance routine while trying to demonstrate some classic human moves, awkwardly flailing arms and all, while encouraging their Aoran counterparts to join in. To her surprise, some Aorans began mimicking their movements, albeit with their own unique flair, and soon enough laughter filled the hangar bay as everyone let loose. Vexor watched from a distance but couldn't help but crack a smile at the absurdity unfolding before it. The once stoic Grand Executive found itself tapping its foot along with the beat despite its best efforts to maintain composure. As they danced together, humans and Aeorans alike, the barriers between them began to dissolve further than ever before. Eventually, after what felt like hours but was likely only minutes, they managed to regain control over the rogue drone by disabling its music function and redirecting it back towards its intended path for future deliveries. Panting and exhilarated from their spontaneous dance party, Lila turned toward Vexor with an apologetic smile. "I hope we didn't offend you too much." Vexor shook its head slowly but couldn't hide its amusement any longer. "You humans are truly remarkable creatures, even if your methods are unconventional. We like to think outside the box," Marcus chimed in playfully. "And sometimes that means embracing chaos," Lila added with a wink. As they returned to their conference room for further discussions about potential collaborations, this time with smiles on their faces, the sense of camaraderie had deepened significantly among them all. Lila felt hopeful about what lay ahead for both civilizations, a future filled with collaboration built on mutual respect and understanding rather than mere formalities or protocols. And perhaps more importantly, a future where laughter could bridge even the most significant cultural divides across galaxies yet unexplored, where humor could pave pathways toward peace amidst cosmic chaos waiting just beyond their reach. The Galactic Bureaucracy. The atmosphere in the Joint Human-Aeoran Command Center was charged with a mix of excitement and tension as Grand Executive Vexor burst in, his robes billowing dramatically behind him. Captain Lila Voss looked up from her holographic display, where trade proposals and cultural exchange agreements were laid out. Vexor's complexion, usually a dignified shade of purple, was now a frantic mottled hue that suggested something was amiss. "Captain Voss," Vexor announced, its voice booming with urgency. "We have intercepted what appears to be a massive coordinated military broadcast from Earth." Lila exchanged glances with Commander Silas Trent and Lieutenant Marcus Reed, both of whom wore expressions of confusion. "A military broadcast? That doesn't sound right," Lila replied cautiously. "What exactly did you intercept?" Vexor gestured dramatically, and a holographic display flickered to life in the center of the room. The screen filled with rapid-fire images and sounds that made Lila close her eyes momentarily, suppressing a groan. The chaotic visuals were accompanied by an upbeat soundtrack that seemed almost comical in the context. "Is that TikTok?" Marcus asked, failing to hide his amusement as he recognized the platform's signature style. "Yes." Vexor continued, either missing or ignoring Marcus's recognition. "We have decoded multiple encrypted channels. They appear to be showing coordinated human movements often synchronized to rhythmic audio patterns." Lila raised an eyebrow, trying to piece together what was happening. "Are you saying that Earth is broadcasting dance videos?" "Precisely." Vexor confirmed, its eyes blinking rapidly in what Lila had come to recognize as a sign of agitation mixed with fascination. "Our analysts believe these may be combat training exercises." "Combat training?" Silas echoed incredulously. "You think humans are preparing for war by dancing?" "It is a possibility we cannot ignore," Vexor insisted, its voice filled with dramatic gravitas. "These movements could be coded messages or tactical maneuvers disguised as entertainment." Lila couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. "Grand Executive, I assure you, humans are not preparing for war through viral dance challenges. It's just a form of expression." "Expression?" Vexor repeated, its upper set of eyes narrowing suspiciously. "You mean to say that this is not a threat?" "Not at all," Lila replied firmly. "It's more like social bonding." "But why would you bond through such frivolous activities?" Vexor asked, genuinely perplexed. "Because it brings people together," Silas interjected. "When we dance or engage in these activities, we create connections and build community." Vexor paused for a moment, its expression shifting as it processed this information. "You humans are truly strange creatures," it finally said, its tone softer than before. As they continued watching the holographic display filled with clips of humans dancing, some gracefully and others rather awkwardly, Lila felt a sense of relief wash over her. Perhaps this misunderstanding could be turned into an opportunity for deeper cultural exchange. "Grand Executive," she said thoughtfully, "why don't we use this moment to explore the concept of human creativity? We could organize an event where both our cultures showcase their unique forms of expression." Vexor's eyes widened in intrigue. "An exchange of creativity? How would this work?" "We could set up a joint festival," Lila explained enthusiastically. "Humans can share our music and dance while Aeorans showcase their artistic expressions, whatever those may be." "A festival," Vexor mused aloud, its mind clearly racing with possibilities. "This could be an effective way to foster understanding between our species." Silas nodded in agreement. "And it would allow us to demonstrate that not all human activities are rooted in bureaucracy or combat readiness." "Indeed," Marcus chimed in. "We can even include food. I hear your people have some interesting culinary traditions." Vexor's eyes sparkled at the mention of food, a topic it had grown increasingly fond of during their previous interactions. "Yes. Food is an essential part of our culture as well." As they discussed potential themes for the festival, ranging from intergalactic cuisine to collaborative art projects, Lila felt a growing excitement about what this cultural exchange could bring. Days passed as preparations for the festival began in earnest. The Joint Command Center buzzed with activity as both human and Aeoran crew members collaborated on logistics, everything from scheduling performances to arranging for interspecies culinary delights. Lila found herself working closely with Kithra, Vexor's assistant, who had proven surprisingly adaptable to human eccentricities. Their brainstorming sessions often devolved into laughter as they navigated cultural differences. "What do you think about including some traditional Earth games?" Lila suggested one afternoon while they reviewed plans for the festival layout. "Games?" Kithra echoed curiously. "Yes. Like tug-of-war or relay races," Lila explained enthusiastically. "They promote teamwork and are just plain fun." Kithra nodded thoughtfully before responding, "We could adapt our own traditional games as well. Perhaps something involving precision and strategy?" "That sounds perfect," Lila exclaimed, her excitement palpable. As they finalized arrangements for the festival, Lila couldn't shake off the feeling that this event would mark a significant turning point in human-Aeoran relations, a chance to break down barriers through shared experiences and humor. On the day of the festival, the command center transformed into a vibrant hub of activity filled with music, laughter, and delicious aromas wafting from various food stations manned by both species. Grand Executive Vexor arrived promptly at the opening ceremony, its robes flowing dramatically as it surveyed the festivities unfolding around it. Lila stood beside it on a makeshift stage adorned with colorful banners representing both cultures. "Welcome," she called out to the gathered crowd, humans and Aeorans alike, who were mingling and enjoying each other's company amidst an atmosphere of celebration. Vexor stepped forward to address everyone with its usual flair for drama. "Today marks a historic occasion. We gather not only to share our cultures but also to embrace our differences." The crowd erupted into applause as Lila exchanged glances with Silas and Marcus. They were all filled with hope for what lay ahead. As performances began, humans showcasing lively dances while Aeorans displayed intricate art forms, the air buzzed with energy and excitement. Laughter echoed throughout the command center as participants engaged in friendly competitions and shared stories about their respective cultures. During one particularly memorable moment, Marcus led a group of Aeorans through some classic Earth dance moves, the kind that involved exaggerated arm flailing and awkward shuffling, which prompted fits of laughter from everyone involved. Lila watched as barriers continued to dissolve between them, even Grand Executive Vexor found itself tapping along to the rhythm despite its earlier reservations about frivolity. As night fell over the festival grounds illuminated by colorful lights twinkling like stars above them all, the realization dawned on Lila: perhaps this was just the beginning of something extraordinary, a new alliance forged not only through diplomacy but also through shared joy and creativity amidst cosmic chaos waiting just beyond their reach. With each passing moment at this festival celebrating their differences while highlighting their shared humanity, and Aoran ity, she felt confident that together they could navigate whatever challenges lay ahead, armed not only with knowledge but also laughter, a powerful tool capable of bridging even the most significant divides across galaxies yet unexplored. A new alliance. The atmosphere in the Joint Human-Aoran Command Center was electric as Captain Lila Voss and Grand Executive Vexor stood before their assembled crews, ready to unveil the results of their collaborative festival. The event had been a resounding success, with laughter, music, and shared experiences bridging the gap between two vastly different cultures. Now, it was time to discuss the next steps in their newfound alliance. "Ladies and gentlemen," Lila began, her voice steady but filled with excitement. "Today marks a pivotal moment in our intergalactic relations. We have not only shared our cultures but also discovered the power of collaboration." Vexor nodded gravely, its 4 eyes scanning the crowd. "Indeed, Captain Voss. The festival has revealed to us that while our bureaucratic procedures may differ, our desire for connection is universal." The room erupted in applause, a mix of humans and Aorans celebrating their shared achievements. Lila felt a swell of pride as she watched her crew interact with their Aoran counterparts, exchanging stories and laughter. It was a sight she had hoped for but never fully expected. "Now, let us discuss how we can formalize this alliance," Lila continued, her tone shifting to a more serious note. "We have an opportunity to collaborate on various fronts: scientific research, trade agreements, and cultural exchanges." Vexor stepped forward, its robes rustling dramatically as it spoke. "As Grand Executive of the Aoran Empire, I propose that we establish a formal treaty outlining our mutual goals and responsibilities. This treaty will serve as a framework for our ongoing collaboration." Lila nodded in agreement. "That sounds like an excellent idea. We can include provisions for joint research initiatives, cultural exchange programs, and even shared technological advancements." "Technological advancements?" Vexor echoed, its eyes widening with curiosity. "What specific technologies do you propose we share?" "Well," Lila began thoughtfully, "we've made significant strides in renewable energy sources on Earth. Sharing this technology could benefit both our species. And we have advanced methods for interstellar navigation," Silas added from the side. "We could help you optimize your travel routes through the galaxy." Vexor's eyes sparkled with interest as it processed their suggestions. "This is indeed promising. But we must ensure that all shared technologies adhere to our strict safety protocols." "Of course," Lila assured it. "We can work together to establish guidelines that prioritize safety while fostering innovation." As they continued discussing potential areas of collaboration, everything from environmental sustainability to joint scientific missions, Lila felt a sense of excitement building within her. This was more than just a diplomatic meeting, it was the beginning of a partnership that could change the course of both civilizations. Days turned into weeks as they worked diligently to draft the treaty. The command center buzzed with activity as human and Aoran crews collaborated on everything from legal language to logistical frameworks. Lila found herself spending more time with Kithra, Vexor's assistant, who had proven to be an invaluable ally in navigating Aoran bureaucracy. "Your legal documents are quite intricate," Kithra remarked one afternoon as they pored over pages filled with clauses and stipulations. "Yeah, we like to cover all bases," Lila replied with a chuckle. "But I think we can simplify some of this without losing its essence." Kithra tilted its head thoughtfully before responding. "Simplicity is often overlooked in our procedures. Perhaps we should consider streamlining some sections?" "Exactly. Lila exclaimed. Let's make it accessible for both sides. As they continued refining the treaty together, Lila felt a growing camaraderie with Kithra, a friendship built on mutual respect and understanding. Finally, after weeks of hard work and collaboration, they were ready to present the treaty to their respective governments for approval. The atmosphere was tense but filled with anticipation as both crews gathered in the command center once more. Today marks a historic occasion, Vexor announced dramatically as it stood at the front of the room alongside Lila. We are here to formalize our alliance through this treaty, a commitment to cooperation and understanding between our two great civilizations. Lila stepped forward to address everyone present. This treaty represents not just an agreement on paper but a promise to work together toward a brighter future, a future where we learn from each other and grow stronger together. As they unveiled the treaty document, complete with signatures from both parties, the room erupted into cheers and applause once more. In that moment, Lila felt an overwhelming sense of hope for what lay ahead, a future where humanity's unique approach to problem-solving could blend seamlessly with Aoran ingenuity. However, just as they were about to celebrate their achievement further, an urgent message interrupted the festivities. Captain Voss. We have detected an unidentified vessel approaching rapidly, came the voice of Lieutenant Maria Santos over the comms. Lila's heart raced as she exchanged worried glances with Vexor. What do we know about this vessel? It appears to be heavily armed and is not responding to hails, Santos replied urgently. Vexor's expression shifted from celebration to concern in an instant. This could be a threat. We must prepare for potential conflict. No. Lila interjected firmly. We've just established this alliance. Let's try diplomacy first. Vexor blinked rapidly before nodding reluctantly. Very well, but we must be prepared for anything. As they prepared to confront the incoming vessel together, humans and Aoran standing side by side, Lila felt a surge of determination wash over her. This was no longer just about individual species, it was about unity against whatever challenges lay ahead, a united front ready to protect their newfound alliance at all costs. With hearts pounding and resolve strengthening their spirits, they awaited whatever fate awaited them from beyond the stars, a test not only of their strength but also of their commitment to cooperation amidst uncertainty. Together they would face whatever came next, because if there was one thing they had learned throughout this journey, it was that laughter could bridge divides while courage could unite even the most disparate beings across galaxies yet unexplored.